In the 21st century, politics is no longer just about policies. It is about stories, symbols, emotions, and perception. A tea seller who became the prime minister of the world's largest democracy. A strong man who promised development, nationalism, and pride. A leader projected as incorruptible, decisive, and fearless. This is the image of Narendra Modi, an image carefully constructed, repeatedly broadcast, and deeply embedded into the Indian public consciousness. But today, we ask a difficult question. Is this image real? Or is it the most successful political illusion in modern Indian history? This is not a hate video. This is not propaganda for or against any party. This is an investigation into perception versus reality. This is the story of how power is built, how narratives are sold, and how a nation may have been emotionally mobilized rather than truly empowered. Narendra Modi's rise did not happen overnight. He did not become powerful simply because of luck or destiny. His journey was carefully planned, strategically marketed, and emotionally engineered. The tea seller story. One of the most repeated stories about Modi is that he was a chaiwala, a poor tea seller who rose from nothing. This story became a symbol of hope for millions. But here's the reality. There is no verified evidence that Modi lived in extreme poverty. His father ran a tea stall, yes, but many Indian families do. Modi left home at a young age to work with the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, RSS, a powerful ideological organization. This narrative wasn't false, but it was simplified, romanticized, and weaponized. Because in politics, emotion beats fact. To understand Narendra Modi, you must understand the RSS. The RSS is not a political party. It is an ideological training system. Its core beliefs include cultural nationalism, Hindu identity as the foundation of India, discipline, hierarchy, and loyalty. Modi was trained not as a Democrat but as a cadre. This matters, because when power shapes decisions more than the constitution. Modi didn't emerge as an independent thinker. He emerged as a product of a system designed to capture institutions over time. No discussion about Modi is complete without Gujarat 2002. After a train was burned in Godhra, violence erupted across Gujarat. Over 1,000 people died, most of them Muslims. The official narrative says, Modi was cleared by courts. He was not directly responsible. But the moral questions remain unanswered. Why was the police response delayed? Why were political leaders accused but never convicted? Why did violence spread so systematically? Modi emerged from 2002 not weakened, but politically stronger. Why? Because polarization works. Fear creates loyalty. Division creates vote banks. This was not just a riot. It was a turning point in Indian politics. For years, Gujarat was sold as a model of development. But when economists looked closely, the story became complicated. What was promoted? High GDP growth, infrastructure projects, investor summits. What was ignored? Poor human development indicators, low health spending, education lagging behind other states, high malnutrition rates. Gujarat grew, but who benefited? Large corporations thrived. Small farmers struggled. Workers remained insecure. Development existed, but it was unequal. Yet the slogan worked, because perception beats statistics. The 2014 election was not won on policy. It was won on anger against corruption, frustration with Congress, media hype, corporate backing, social media manipulation. Modi was marketed like a product. 3D hologram rallies, non-stop TV coverage, carefully scripted speeches, controlled interviews. He promised 2 crore jobs per year, black money recovery, minimum government, maximum governance. Act in good days. People didn't vote for BJP. They voted for Hope Point. One of the most critical changes after 2014 was the collapse of media independence. Major news channels stopped questioning power, started amplifying government narratives, labeled critics as anti-national. Journalism was replaced by spectacle. Primetime debates became shouting matches. Important issues disappeared. Unemployment? Ignored. Farmer suicides? Ignored. corporate monopolies. Ignored. The media didn't inform citizens. It managed emotions. On November 8, 2016, Narendra Modi announced demonetization. 86% of India's currency was invalidated overnight. The reasons given: fight black money, end corruption, stop terrorism. The reality: black money returned to banks. Small businesses collapsed. Daily wage workers suffered. Economy slowed down. People stood in long queues. Some died waiting, but they still supported Modi. Why? Because he framed suffering as patriotism. Pain was sold as sacrifice. Failure was sold as courage. India's unemployment reached multi-decade highs. But instead of fixing the problem, data was delayed. Reports were modified. Institutions were pressured. When truth becomes inconvenient, it is hidden. When institutions question power, they are captured. This is not governance. This is control. Every time economic questions arise, nationalism intensifies. Surgical strikes, airstrikes, border tensions, emotional speeches. National pride is important. But when nationalism replaces accountability, democracy weakens. Criticism becomes betrayal. Questions become insults. A leader is no longer evaluated, he is worshipped. Modi is everywhere. Government schemes carry his face. Vaccination certificates carried his photo. Relief announcements featured him first. Institutions faded. One man dominated. Democracy shifted from system-based to leader-based. This is dangerous, because when leaders become larger than institutions, checks and balances collapse. Students, journalists, activists, comedians, many faced arrests, harassment, legal pressure. Laws meant for terrorism were used against dissent. Fear replaced freedom. This is not strength. This is insecurity. Religion became political currency. Temples were inaugurated like campaign events. Minorities were portrayed as threats. Citizenship became conditional. India's strength was always diversity. When unity becomes uniformity, democracy suffers. Internationally, Modi is praised. Big speeches, stadium events, photo ops. But foreign applause does not fix domestic problems. PR does not replace policy. The truth is uncomfortable. Indians were not fooled because they were weak. They were fooled because they were emotional, hopeful, and tired. Modi did not hypnotize India. India wanted to believe. This is not just about one man. This is about how democracies fall not by coups, but by consent. The question is not, is Modi good or bad? The question is, are citizens asking enough questions? Because democracy dies not when leaders lie, but when people stop questioning. This documentary is for awareness, not hate. Question power. Protect democracy. Think critically.